want to nurture an actor who is versatile, who is flexible, who is capable of being a true creative agent in the process of making theatre. We must have people who can work with text, with set text. We must have people who can work devising a text. We must have people who can work with language and people who can work without language. We must have people who are familiar, at least familiar with traditional forms and use traditional forms in very much non-traditional contexts. We must have people who are familiar with the proscenium stage and people who are familiar with non-proscenium spaces. So, you know, this kind of flexibility is crucial for the contemporary actor. Fundamentally, the acting component is twofold in the TTRP. There is a line which is essentially Stanislavskian, but this is a variation of Stanislavski as it has been taught in Beijing, China. Fundamentally, the teachers are from the Central Academy in Beijing, and they have a particular take on Stanislavski.
训练学生塑造这种活生生的有血有肉的人物，舞台形象。再一个标准呢，就是要求不仅真实，而且鲜明生动，也就是说要有它的个性魅力。那么第三个标准呢，是我们培养的学生，他要适应不同的流派，就是一切戏剧形式的流派都可以适应。
你呢，成年拉扯出丑派，你该漂漂亮亮的玩几天。我呢，当了这些年老姑娘，也该痛快几天。咱们钱快用完了，就去找老头子去。
The other line, as it were, is a more eclectic line. This is, again, not completely contrary to the Stanislavskian system, in the sense that it still deals with text and still deals with the speaking actor. And the person teaching this methodology, Robert Dreffin, is far more exposed to different types of performances. Dreffin's approach emphasizes the self. It emphasizes emotion, it emphasizes feeling. It allows the actor to trust himself or herself in interpreting a text. It allows the actor a liberation, a space where he can believe in himself in a different kind of way than the Stanislavskian system.
The first skill is to work from impulse, to work from their body and their imagination and their kinesthetic senses, and not to work from their mind.
TTRP 之后呢，我觉得每一天对我来讲呢都是一个挣扎。为什么这样子说？这个挣扎倒不是反面的，我觉得它是有正面意义的。就是每一天呢，我都要想着说，要怎么突破自己，然后要怎么样子去接受一些不是在自己的思维的习惯里面，或者不是在自己的身体的习惯里面的新的事物、新的知识、新的练习。然后每一天呢，要想到怎么样尽快的丢掉自己的一些会阻碍自己的创作成长的一些障碍。
are not so much interested in the TTRP to create people with beautiful voices. That's not our aim. Neither is it our aim to create people with beautiful bodies, as in some theatre schools or film schools. Our aim is to create people with voices and bodies which are alive, which are malleable, which are adaptable, which are strong, which are flexible, and which are natural.
And while cataracts lives in glory, bugle, answer, echoes, dying, dying, dying.
不是，风，你咆哮吧，咆哮吧，尽力的咆哮吧，在这暗无天日的时候，一切都睡着了，都沉在梦里，都死了的时候，应该你尽力的咆哮的时候。
来这边我们大家同学那个经济都不是很好啊，所以就我们不知道明天我们的生活怎么样。我可以留下来吗？这样，我们就所以每一天对我来说，我就要把握，我就要好好的去学。
The individual project component is a special space that we have created within the TTRP. What we are trying to do is to create a situation where they can be, to some extent, actors, performance makers, directors, designers, writers, where they can shape what they want to do. Essentially, it goes back to the students' own cultural background, the own context. In this respect, we encourage them to use their own language, their mother tongue, their vernaculars. We encourage them to go back to experiences that they have had in their own countries. So it is a space for sharing. It is a space for getting to know one another, but at the same time, it is a space where they become creative agents as performers.
比较难忘，可能也忘不了的，就是第二次的 individual project。因为我选择那个主题，在第一年对我来讲，它是一个很特别的经验，在洗牌，在洗衣毒，在洗很多过去训练的一个，算是对我来讲算是一个洗练的过程。
The improvisation studio is another space, another platform, except that this is a little bit more structured. You have a teacher or an instructor, usually a director or somebody who's experienced as a director, coming in to get the student to play. I mean play in a serious kind of way. Play with the forms that they have been taught. Play with the elements of contemporary acting they have learned. Play with the movement that they have studied. Play with voice that they may have studied. Play with Tai Chi, which they are doing every day. How does all of this come together? How does it sit together? You know, it's a little bit like telling a child to, okay, you've been playing with toys all this time. Leave your toys behind. Leave them outside. Enter this new playground and begin to play with yourself. Begin to play with your fellow actors and see what comes out of it. The traditional forms themselves have to work at two levels. At one level, they have to inspire the students. They have to open up spaces, open up horizons for them in terms of the use of the body, in terms of vocalization, in terms of the sense of space, in terms of interaction, in terms of connection with text, etc., etc. All of these things are significant for the contemporary actor, by the way. And at the same time, apart from inspiring people, apart from opening up these horizons, the traditional forms also emphasize discipline. They also emphasize precision. They also emphasize repetition. They also emphasize practice. They also emphasize a certain attitude of learning, about humility, about being humble in front of the art form, being humble in front of the teacher. They also emphasize respect for tradition.